I think we've all heard about music therapy and art therapy, that there are ways in which people can guide other people into maybe locked up parts of themselves or parts that they've never explored. We learn different ways. There's different ways of learning even in school, right? There's different intelligences. And being able to move and dance or to use music, like when we worship, in our worship singing portion of our worship service. And when you create, and with clay, you're using a whole lot of, you're using muscles to roll out, and you're using muscles to tame the clay when you're on a potter's wheel. None of this was on the potter's wheel, but when you're doing that, and you're taking, in a sense, something that's nothing, and you're making it into something. All of that, it opens up, it wakes up parts of your brain, technically, but it also just, for me, brings great joy, great frustration when something doesn't work, but great joy. And it gives me time alone, even though most of the time when I'm working on clay, I work in a community studio with a lot of other people, and that community is life-giving. But oftentimes I'm alone in my thoughts. I'm also just working physically alone, and it has my whole body involved. So when I'm working on something that is very specifically about Christ and about the story of God, then I'm also thinking about the Trinity, or I'm thinking about all the things from the David's harp, all of what we have gained from God working through David, the fallible man that he was, and thank God, continued to be loved by God. And wow, that's me too, fallible and continued to be loved. So it helps me both with the stories that I was trying to portray on a particular tile, but also there is something about using more of me than just up here, more of me than words on a page. And mind you, we know that Jesus is the Word, and I used to be a book editor, so words are very important to me. But there's something about using more of yourself. And then on the other side, it's quite possible that there's people who don't quite get Scripture, that might get something that is visual, something that is bright, something that is on that particular day exactly what, seeing that is exactly what they need, or it ignites something in them. So the idea that it's definitely both therapeutic and uplifting for me as I'm doing it, but the idea that maybe there's somebody who's going to catch something of God's love for us through some symbol or some color or some brightness, something they've never looked at before, maybe this will be that.